hard to recollect memories 8 years after they happened, but they had just moved into a new house. We were all still kind of settling into this new area and adapting.
The whole Christmas experience was disrupted. I mean, I think we generally remember our Christmases. It's strange that this one has slipped, which once again makes me feel like, did it really happen?
It's such a large family. There's really almost 2 or 3 different memory banks surrounding my parents' relationship.
What we tried to do by moving to Norco was to get a fresh start. Your mom wanted the horse property. For months I argued I didn't want to move. I enjoyed Foothill Ranch, liked the house.
I remember just being a young boy trying to fit into a different environment. And my parents weren't acting very much out of the ordinary than they did when we were living in Orange County.
There had been a lot of problems in the marriage, a lot of distance. I think we'd really grown apart in the last probably 5 years of the marriage. Of course, then I met somebody I really liked and decided I wanted out of the marriage.
The closest memory I have to you and Dad splitting up was that hand cycling trip that happened between you and Mike.
It was so rewarding to have somebody take some interest in you and your sport and what you were doing because your dad never did. You had the time of your life that day. You were grinning from ear to ear and you had so much fun, and that was the day I decided that I was leaving your dad. And I talked to you in depth the whole time. I talked to you a lot about that I wasn't happy, and you understood that.
I do not feel like we saw it coming. Definitely not. At least from my point of view.
Anytime that I would try to bring up what was going on to you, your mom would get on the phone and be screaming and yelling at me along with Mike Box that there's no reason to bring the children into this. And there was a reason to bring the children into it. It was a family. And I really did not agree with that effort on their part. What I recall was sitting in the driveway at Norco in the Volkswagen that I was driving at the time and finally told you that the marriage was ending, at which I knew you were never told what was going on with your mom and me.
It's tricky because now that you brought that up, I remember coming home, going in my room, one of the most bizarre moments in my life, my sister hugs me. Usually she'd hit me. She hugged me.
I felt really guilty for disrupting your life, but then I thought I was making a change that would better your life. I thought the things that you would get to do, the places you get to go, and the people you'd meet, and the things that you got to experience in life, you got to experience a lot more because it was with Mike. But I think if we both would have really tried harder, I think it could have been saved. If I could loosen him up to do a few things, if I could get him to face your disability and interact a little bit more with that kind of stuff, which he did eventually. It just took him a long time to come around to it.
I missed the family that lived in Long Beach. Your mom and I were still passionately in love with each other, and every step was new and fresh, and we're doing it as a team. It's a shame that such a fine family had to end, and it did.
Are we going to come back up? Yeah. That's it. They don't come back up? Okay.
Hi, this is Christmas at the Taylor family. Welcome to our December 25th, or should I say December 21st, Christmas.
When I was like 8 or 9, I think, it seemed like any other Christmas for the most part. And the only thing I recall was that he got really angry and upset, and broke some presents, and was yelling. And then the next thing I remember is that my sisters and I were all in my room together crying and sort of playing Hungry Hungry Hippos. And I haven't asked my mom, so I look forward to finding out what she has to say about it.
No, I don't remember that. Maybe I didn't want to remember it. Maybe it was too sad. Y'all got upset and went in your room, went crying, and I was probably trying to make things pleasant. I mean, I grew up trying to keep things pleasant in our family when sometimes it wasn't pleasant.
You know, even Annelle and Cameron, they don't really seem to.
They don't remember. Well, and maybe because it was more because you did something. You were acting up.
I don't remember any Christmas being spoiled or ruined, but I do remember several instances where either somebody was screaming about something, and it was like, well, am I going to grab both of them and take them to their room, or just the one that's closest? Anyway, that's the kind of stuff you regret ever doing.
So, right?
My foot. There's probably more stress going on at the parental level there for a period of time.
I mean, that's probably one of my biggest memories growing up is the arguments around what to do about the holidays.
As young children, we would spend Christmas at Harvard House, Big Mom and Big Daddy's house, which was just loads of fun because you'd have friends coming over and relations. So when Lynell and I got married, I wanted to keep doing what we'd been doing, but Lynell wanted to establish her own tradition, which I didn't like at the time.
I think y'all kind of liked being in Memphis around your cousins and all, and maybe it was probably too quiet for y'all and having it in Jackson. Y'all liked having a lot of noise. And me, like I said, I was just used to Christmases where it was pretty low key.
I mean, she was right. You can't pack up everybody in the car and keep doing what you've been doing forever. You got to establish your own tradition. I mean, I miss being around all the big crowd. It was hard to let it go. But then as everybody got married and had their own families and stuff like that, there was a time for that to change, and I guess I wanted to hold on to it, longer than an adult ought to.
Just like overhearing your parents argue or fight, those things I tend to not focus on because I'd rather remember Dad singing to Mom.
He loved Mom, and they loved each other. They were a great team. I'll never forget growing up, they were a great team together.
You could not walk into that house as a stranger or as a family member without her saying, oh, what can I get you? Are you hungry? Oh, just sit down, I'll fix you this and I'll fix you that. I mean, that's how I remember Mom.
I remember my parents' bedroom. It was a large master bedroom with a fireplace, and outside of my door into their door was a little alcove, and I created a chapel. I'd pray there. And so maybe I felt that everything was there, God, family, in that room. And it was sort of a sacred space, perhaps, and a secure space for me.
You were always sleeping in between Mom and Dad, and I just didn't think that was healthy for you. In a way, maybe it was good for you for that security, but I thought I wanted Mom and Dad to bond better too. It's like
that makes me think that maybe I needed to be close to them because she was taken away from me for months at a time.
I don't know. I can't say, but
that makes me think that maybe I was.
Well, she was taken away from all of us, Tommy. She wasn't just taken away from you. So you need to look at it that way too.
I suppose I took certain liberties with their space. I don't know how long this went on. My brother seems to think it went on longer and maybe had an impact on their relationship. I'm not sure. Again, I wasn't old enough to know, and I don't know if it's a fair characterization.
She gave us all love. I mean, she was full of love. And someone questioned her about, well, having 10 children, in this day and age, you can plan your family, you can limit the number of your children. Have you ever thought about that? And Mom says, well, I can't say all my children were planned, but I can say they were all welcome.
great, but I wish I would have realized it then.
In my own mind, I have some sort of vague memories, and I have sort of a romanticized, maybe it's not romanticized, maybe it's reality.
Time embellishes a lot of things. You have a way of sifting out any bad experiences.
There are some things maybe that a person may want to remain hazy or suppress.
It's just this moment in time that is now gone.